So this is a 2017 Lexus Rx350. It's having an issue with the ICS system. The ICS is called the Intelligence Clearance Sonar. So what that does basically is it help you dictate when the car is close to other objects. And also, if you look at the dashboard at the top right side, you will see an off light blinking. So that is the light that blinks when the system is faulty. So if you start this car, all of that light goes off except that light keeps flashing. Even on the instrument cluster, there's a way I can navigate. You can see ICS malfunction, visit your dealer. So what the system does is it helps you dictate when the car is close to an obstacle or any object. So it does this by some sensors that are on the bumpers. It has 4 at the front bumpers and 4 at the rear bumpers. So also, this system can be turned off, this ICS system. You just have to navigate to settings, then ICS system, trigger, then yes, I'm turning it off. So now it's off. So when it's off, you will notice that this light, so the one with the off sign beneath it, the light will become solid on, it won't blink. But if I turn the system back on, which means I want the system to start working, so now you will notice the light starts blinking. It's blinking to tell you that yes, the system is on, but there's a problem with the system. That's why it's blinking. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to try and run diagnostics on the ICS system, which is the Intelligence Clearance Sonar system, so to actually dictate what is actually wrong with the system. From there, we will know what to do about it. Now I have 3 different faults here: front sensor communication circuit, front sensor communication circuit, and rear sensor communication circuit. So the first one is the one that has the current event, the other are history code. So I have issue with only the front sensor communication circuit, because if I should clear this code, the ones with history record are going to be gone. Then I will be left with the current one. So I'm at the front of the car now, and I found some very interesting things. Number one is that the sensor itself is missing. Like, this is the connector for it. It's a 3-wire sensor for the all 4 sensors, but the sensor itself is missing. And another thing I noticed is this bumper was replaced, and it only have 2 holes for the sensor, and it's supposed to be 4. There's supposed to be another one around here and the other side also. So even though this sensor is purchased, this is where the radar sensor is. So it's different from the radar sensor. So even though the sensor is later purchased, we'll have to drill 2 more holes on the bumper. So at this point, I got the set of the sensors from a dealer, but I noticed something different, which is at the connector of the one that was given to me, this particular one. I noticed this sensor has a different connector point. Yeah, I mean a different connector pin. If you look at this, is a female connector pin, like the pins inside are female. So this is under the car now. I check the wiring from the car. If you look, this is the wiring from the car. This is also female connector pin. So there's no way this will fit in. So it has to be that the sensor has to come with a male connector pin for it to fit in properly. So this will not work. So I decided to check the ones at the rear bumper to actually see maybe there's a difference or there's any similarity between them. So I'm at the back now. This is the wiring for the rear ICS sensors. So yeah, I'm still trying to disconnect the sensor from the wiring, but I noticed the wiring has actually a male connector pin. So the sensor here is carrying female connector pin, just like the one that was sent to me from the front. So this is the connector this is the wiring from the vehicle, having a male connector pin. This is the wiring from the vehicle, and the sensor has a female connector pin. So this female connector pin sensor was exactly the one that was sent to me. This, like here you can see, this is the one that was sent to me for the front. So it's exactly the back sensors that was sent to me to use for the front, but it's having different connectors, so it won't work for the front sensor. So after calling the dealer like for a replacement, he said the particular one will work. I said the connector is different, but he said it will work. So what I just want to confirm is, I loop the 3 wires to the wiring for the vehicle. That is from the sensor that is sent to me to the vehicle to actually see if it will work. But this is a very, very sensitive job because there must not be bridging wire here, or else you could damage the sensor. So I don't think anybody should try this on their own, but I just want to use this to confirm the sensor works fine. So now I'm using a different scanner now to actually access the system because I just want to confirm if it works. So now I'm in the system now, and I have good communication with it. So now let me first start by trying to program the sensor. It's just like you are doing calibration for the sensor. So if the calibration goes through, that means the system works. But if it doesn't go through, that means there's an issue either with the sensor or the system. So now I'm trying to program or calibrate the front ones. So if this system goes through now, I see lost communication with the vehicle. So that sensor has not started working. So if it's working, it's not going to bring that message. It's going to bring a message for me to calibrate it if the system actually works. But as it's not giving me that, so it doesn't work. So let me try the rear, which I know the rear works fine. So now I'm trying to calibrate the rear. So if it gives me an option for calibration, then it works. But I know this back one should work. Yeah, this works. So now it's telling me to actually calibrate the elevation angle of the sensors. So that means the rear one works. The front one has not started working yet. So I'm not going to input any value here because the rear one has been programmed already. Anything that makes me change values here is going to change the calibration for the rear ones. So let me try and visit what is wrong with the front sensors. So I want to try and scope the signals on the sensor. So I check one of the wires, and as you can see, I can see about 5 volts on one of the pins. That is the first pin. I can see 5 volts, a steady 5 volts. So then the second pin, which is the next one, I can see another 5 volts. And then the third one, I noticed that the third one, I'm not seeing any signal from it, that means it has a 5 volts, a reference voltage, then the signal back to the module, then a sensor ground. That is just basically what is at the connector of that sensor. So this is the rear. I'm at the rear now because I want to compare it, because I know here now I should be seeing 5 volts, a signal back to the module, then a ground. So this is the first wire I'm back probing, and I notice there is no signal at all. So that means this is the signal, a sensor ground. This is the ground for the sensor. So then I'll check the next one. So this is the next one, which is the middle pin. So I'm seeing a funny kind of 5 volts here. It's like a pulsing volt. The voltage is pulsing. You can see at the point there's a spike in the middle. Also, the next wire, the next one, which should be the either return or the signal back to the module, is also having this exact type of signal. So basically, this sensor is also controlled by 5 volts, which is the rear sensor, is also controlled by 5 volts, but it's a special type of 5 volts because it's not a constant voltage. It's pulsating, as you can see, and the pulsating is not breaking down immediately. It's like a slope. So from my conclusion, the sensor might look alike, but their controls are different for the rear and the front. The front is controlled by a steady 5 volts, while the rear is controlled by a pulsating 5 volts. So they are not the same sensor. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm going to connect the front sensor in the same way this rear one was connected at the back. So then from there, if the front sensor now communicates, then I'll know what I'm going to do from there. So I just want to reconfirm this 5 volts at the rear. So as you can see again, it's a pulsating voltage. It's not a steady voltage like the front. So I'm certain that it's not as if I have a contact issue. My contact pins are firm. So let me connect the front one in the same way this back one was connected and see what I will get. So connecting it in reference to the rear one. So what I'm going to do is now, like for the front one, this middle pin, this is the second pin. The middle one is actually the ground. But for the rear one, the ground is actually the third pin. So the middle from the socket, then I'm connecting it to the first wire on the sensor. So the numbering are not the same, but I want to follow the rear one to actually get what I'm trying to look for. So now I've finished the connection exactly the way the rear one was connected. The other two wires are the reference voltage and the signal back to the module. So now let me test the system and know what I'm going to get from it. So now I'm trying to communicate with the module. So now I have communication with the module. So let me try to program or calibrate the front sensor. So special functions, then adjustments. This is just for the calibration process. So let's see if the front one communicates. So now select parts which we are to program. So I'm going to select the front sensor. So now let's see what I get now. If it gives me the parameter for calibration, then the sensor has worked. So it's still adjusting. Let's wait. Now it has worked. For you to give me the option of inputting the elevation angle, this elevation angle, it means the sensor actually works. So now I'm just supposed to input the elevation angle, and then the sensor start working, the light goes off. But now it's still on the ground, so I just input something, a random number. When I actually install them, I will calculate the angle and input it. So I just want to finish with the programming or the calibration and see that light actually goes off. So now I have also cleared the fault code. Now let me recycle the car. So I've turned it off. Let me start the engine. Now I've started the engine. Without even anything, you can see that blinking light has gone off, and there's no fault on this vehicle again. This is a faultless vehicle. Dashboard is clean. If you look at the system, the ICS system now is functioning fine. The only fault I have is windshield or washer fluid low. That one can be filled later. But now there's no error message on the dashboard again. Everything is clear. So that means that sensor actually works. But the only clause I have about it is the way that sensor is controlled is different. So now I'm trying to read fault code again, and there is no trouble code at all. So this system is fine now. So my conclusion on this will be that this sensor will be returned and the right one will still be ordered, because why I won't use this sensor is it is actually designed to work with a pulsing 5 volts, which is for the rear bumpers. It is not designed to work with a steady 5 volts. So you might think the sensor works fine. Yes, I will install it and that is all. But the way the system is controlled is different. So this sensor, maybe with time, might start eating up, because it is not actually designed to work with a steady 5 volts. It is designed to work with a pulsating 5 volts. Because if not that, I might have just take out the connector and then actually loop the wire together. But the best thing is just to order the right parts, then install, and that is all. The car works fine.